Place to lay one's head is a need that every individual strives to satisfy. But to what extent does man have control over his choice of a place of abode? Well, left to many, it will be how close the place is to their work location. Well, that is not the case for some Ghanaians on the street of Accra. The cost of accommodation determines their residence. JoyNews' Joseph Akable visited some parts of Accra where people have been forced to live rough on the streets due to inability to afford rent.
You can't afford. Those that they say they are for affordable housing are not affordable, my brother. They are not affordable at all. So,
he said, "We are that season." He said, "Do 50 Ghana." I just come from make that time.
The views of some Ghanaians on the streets of Accra on how expensive accommodation has become. Ghana's housing deficit has for the past decade been pegged at 1.7 million. Different government policies, including the affordable housing project, have been rolled out with the aim of alleviating the situation. The efforts may not have yielded much gains, as many continue to live along the streets and in makeshift structures springing up on a daily basis at unauthorized places. It's 1 p.m. on a bright Monday, and I'm walking along the busy tiptoe lane, few meters away from the Kwame Nkrumah interchange. I chance upon a family of 8 who occupy a makeshift structure hidden from the glare of the public.
My name is Mariatu Abdullahi. I don't know my age.
But you didn't feel better.
I have been here for about 20 to 30 years. I cook rice for sale.
30 years. 30 years near Hayana. Mariatu's place of abode is least desirable. 3 small-sized wooden structures serve as bedrooms for the entire family. A dry line that zigzags across the little 9-yard compound has some wooden boards on ground. They serve as resting place for the children during the day. They have no place of convenience. Mariatu explains why she has no option than to make do.
We were here when the disaster occurred. Our place got burnt. We sleep outside. We don't have money to rent a good place elsewhere. The prices are high. We cannot afford. That's why we sleep outside. They will ask you to pay for long term.
And her sentiments are true. Rent is expensive these days.
When you're talking about prices of rent, I think it differs from place to place. But I think it's on the high side. Averagely, it's on the high side. For instance, I stay at Kumasi, and you have to pay about 3 years advance. And that's almost 3,000 Ghana cedis for 3 years advance. And that is single room self-contained. Now, other places that I've asked, some places could be 150 cedis, depending on the environment you find yourself in. For instance, at Shama, it used to be around 70 Ghana cedis before I moved to Kumasi, and depending on the suburbs. So I think it's location to location.
But with the areas that you say they are expensive, is it of concern to you?
Oh, really? For rent, it's of concern to everybody. So there is nobody in Ghana unless you have your own house, probably. Unless you have your own house. But it's of a very much concern to everybody.
But quite recently, we see lots of ads. They are building estates, renting them out. Have you tried any of those ones?
There was a couple of times a friend of mine and I went to state enterprise or state housing. They had this collaboration with HFC for government workers. And believe me, when you go there, the prices were in dollars. So it was on the high side.
Finance are actually in the accommodation of the high room prices. In fact, that is very costly. It's high prices. So it's about the party to the also officially that the rental people we reduce the prices at the building. They are bidding and prices is too much. It's very costly. This is why I can say.
This time the system is very hard. I think maybe if they do it 3 months or 6 months, it will be okay for us. Because system
times are tough. It's difficult to get money. They need to help us. Cost of living is high. I wonder which job one can engage in to enable them comfortably rent a place. Most of the guys sleep outside. We pay 10 cedis for wooden structure. It's now 50 cedis for a wooden structure. We cannot afford. I used to pay 50 cedis at my place. They are now asking for 80 cedis.
50 Ghana. You had 2 years. It's almost 80 Ghana.
In the midst of all these concerns, Accra and many other parts of the country are witnessing construction of new apartments for rent on a daily basis. But how affordable are they? For JoyNews, my name is Joseph Akable.
Well, rent in Ghana may be expensive, but you can still visit the upcoming Multi-TV Habitat Fair on the 11th of August, where lots of moderate real estate companies will showcase many products and services that you too can afford. Well, away from that, let's go to the presidency. Where President Akufo-Addo says former Chief Justice Georgina Theodora will forever be remembered for restoring confidence in the judiciary at the time that arm of government was rocked with allegation of corruption. The president has therefore encouraged other legal practitioners to emulate the example of the former Chief Justice if they desire to rise to the top and be recognized by the state. He said this when the Ghana Bar Association organized a special dinner to honor the former Chief Justice at the Movenpick Hotel.
Not only was she the first female judge, but she's also turned out to be the longest serving Chief Justice in our history. And after a sterling performance as Chief Justice, she has now entered into her retirement, being heaped upon laurels upon laurels. She's now the first Chief Justice to occupy the place of Chief Justice in the Council of State. Has not happened before. She's the first. And the Bar Association has also conferred on her yet another first. I think all of these are testimony to our collective appreciation of the work she has done and for our country. How in very, very difficult times when the judiciary was rocked by these allegations of corruption, she stood up and held the boat very firmly down and began the measures that have begun to restore public confidence in the judiciary. She'll always be remembered for that period in our history. And we have to thank her a great deal for that. The importance of the judiciary is something that binds all of us in this room, our recognition of its importance. And to have somebody who has given such frontline service, such distinguished service to the growth of the judiciary is a very commendable period of national service. So it is good that we're met here tonight once again to commend her and to say that for those of you who are coming, if you behave yourself and conduct yourself well, you might get some of these honors as that goes on. And that has always to be the inspiration for all of us, that if you conduct yourself well, attempt to brighten your little corner, live according to principle, and show determination and excellence in everything that you're doing, your peers will recognize and acknowledge and commend you.
Oh, you're welcome back to the show. Parliament's Roads and Transport Committee has okayed the payment of mandatory road tolls despite public backlash. Now, the Ministry of Transport suspended the payment, which was supposed to begin last month, to allow for further consultations. But the committee, upon deliberations, has concluded it's a good idea. Chairman of the Roads and Transport Committee, Samuel Ayepaye, says an abrogation of the contract would have led to the payment of judgment debt, hence the decision to okay it. He, however, says the operator has agreed to pay 2.5 100% of the accrued amounts to the ambulance service. The committee is advising the Road Safety Commission to intensify education and roll out the program possibly next month. Well, Beatrice Edu has been to town talking to people to find out what they make of this decision from Parliament.
It's a laudable idea because most of the accidents on the roads are due to these broken down vehicles. Ghanaians should be a bit responsible. I mean, you waste money and you buy a car, you don't want to maintain it. It's broken down, you leave it for about sometimes 3 days. You find broken down vehicles on the road with no road signs, no warning triangles warning you that there's a broken down vehicle ahead of you. So I supported it, but you know, Ghanaians, when the laws are being made, sometimes we look at the fact that because we are going to pay money, we'll grumble. So all we need is education. Before anything is brought to Parliament, they should do serious education.
About the national towing system, in my opinion, I against it. I against the whole idea because, for example, I'm a driver. If I have a problem on the road at the moment, either I have the option to call a towing car to come and tow the car for me. Even if the national towing car comes to tow my car, they will still ask me to pay for it. I don't think it's going to be free. And I don't go on a highway too. So maybe, like the essence is to tow vehicles on the highways. Maybe Accra and somewhere, let's say on the Kumasi highway. That is where people mostly have these heavy-duty trucks breaking down. But if I'm doing town driving, where do they have these towing cars around? That if I have a problem, that they will come and tow my car. So I disagree with the government completely to be charging people towing fees.
I was not all that clear. It seems like, why am I paying road levy and others, and my car, I always see to that my car is in good condition, and then I'm going to pay for somebody who has one or two, maybe his or her car is locked on a road, and then I'm paying some money that will be used to tow that car for him. But I wasn't all that clear. But later, with a whole lot of explanations on the radio and other news as I do here, I got to know that it seems to me like something like insurance. I'm insuring for my future reoccurrence. I don't know what will happen to me too. I know it's a good thing. In fact, I've understood that it's a good thing. But how they will use it, the managers, the ministers and others will use it.
I think it's a good idea for the nation, but it depends on how they will handle the money of the people paying, you know. Because anytime they bring an idea like that, we do agree with them. But later, you ask them to account for the money they've taken. It turns into a different thing altogether.
Already, economic situation in the country is so high. We are not having it easy already. And if you are putting up such a toll, then you are going to suffer more than we think of. Saving my own life is giving the drivers what they are supposed to learn again. We are drivers, but we don't go by the rules of the game of driving. So we are supposed to be retaught how to go by things and how it is supposed to be done. Not towing the cars on the road, off the road, is going to stop the accident. Because if I'm driving and I'm speeding, okay, and there is a broken down car, maybe I will pass, but I will not, instead of slowing down to check before doing the overtaking, I will go with the speed and the other one coming. So it is a matter of educating me that when you see a broken down car, slow down.